Hello and welcome to ISSIP's first semi-annual progress meeting in a new format. We're going to be testing, piloting less talking heads, more conversation among the people of ISSIP with a goal of better understanding, better connecting with our people and understanding the service innovation work and initiatives afoot in the ISSIP community around the world. I'm Michele Carroll, Executive Director of the International Society of Service Innovation Professionals, reaching out to you today from just east of San Francisco East Bay. And we encourage you to use the chat today to comment, ask questions, to share any links you'd like to share, and we'll be doing the same in the chat throughout. And go ahead and put in there now, what's your mood and where are you patching in from? Our format will be this presentation and the video links from our award winners were sent out a couple weeks ago, and Jim's recap of what the key metrics for the first half were and what we'll be covering today. So we're not going to be dwelling on the presentation. Our agenda is just this. Our president, Deb Stokes of Dell Technologies, will give her brief remarks and introduce our three new 2025 ISSIP Fellows, the highest honor we bestow as an organization. And those able to be on the call today, and there are at least two, will say a few words and we get to meet them and connect a bit. And then we'll hear from the award winners able to be on the call today in the Excellence in Service Innovation Award program chaired by Haroon, Abbu of Bell and Howell. And then in the largest time block today, Jim Spohrer is going to facilitate your Q&A and conversation about all the other ISSIP programs, the AI CoLab, the ambassadors, publishing, and Mighty Me, and take questions and recognize people leading and participating in those programs. And then we'll hear from our Vice President, Haluk Demirkan, with Amazon and UW, and University of Washington, I should say, who will facilitate hearing from our board of directors, executive committee, and major donors that are able to be on the call today. And Deb Stokes will wrap us up. And with that, let me go ahead and turn it over to ISSIP's 2024 and 2025 President, Deb Stokes of Dell Technologies.
Thank you, Michele. It's always such a pleasure to be on our progress calls because, and maybe it's since I've been part of the ISSIP community for, I think, Jim, we can say decades now, that I've seen the progress of ISSIP over the years and seen all of the changes and how we've been able to adjust to the market pressures, to what's happening in the technology world, what's happening in the business world, and we're still going strong. So I think, part of what we want to really highlight today is, just the first half of this year, we have over 2,000 global participants in the community. And I think that in today's world, having those global connections really, it just makes such a significant difference in how we approach looking at services innovation. Having that global perspective really adds a lot to what we are trying to accomplish. We've had a number of increased excellent engagements in the ISSIP programs, the events and how we're publishing results. And what I think is interesting and intriguing is we've changed with the times. We're not just for this session, for instance, we're going to walk you through a number of PowerPoint presentations. I was about to say boring, but they're not boring. They just have a lot of content in them. But instead, you can go and take a look at the video and get the overview of it. And what we really want to do is do more of the communication, do more sharing, do more talking amongst ourselves rather than just going through the PowerPoint. So, making sure that, that testing new models, that's really what we're after, and using the progress call is a great example for how we would actually do that. Quick view of what's coming up in the second half. We'll do another quick look at that as well. There's lots of partnership opportunities, lots of events coming up on the calendar. What we call that scaffolding for growth. Be sure, if you haven't taken a look at the handbook, be sure that you take a look at the handbook. Be sure that you've signed off on our code of conduct. We have an expectation for our ISSIP participants across the community and their contributions. And the code of conduct is a great way to ensure we're all on the same footing. We're all doing the same thing. And we also want to do a big shout out. Funding is something that is necessary. And the model that we have taken and the approach that we're looking at is really looking for the contributions and donations rather than charge membership fees like a lot of organizations do. We rely on those contributors who see the value in participating in ISSIP and making a financial contribution. So I think that is the one of the key things that makes us different. And again, you can see below, all the things that we do, our pathway to advancing service innovation to benefit people, businesses, and society as a whole. So without further ado, let's go to the next slide and let's get excited about our ISSIP 2025 fellows. I could say so much about these individuals, that from what Roland has done from a service research perspective, what Birgit has done from service design, and what Dundar has done from management of engineering and technology. I would encourage you, listen to their videos, listen to what they've said and how they have contributed to service innovation as we know it today. And I believe I saw Roland on the call. So Roland, I would ask you to go off mute and just give us a quick couple of words about who you are and what you do and what you have done. And, even better, what are you looking forward to doing in the future for services?
Sure, happy to do it. Yeah, I've been involved with service for a number of years, decades. Jim Spohrer knows that better than anybody. I founded the Frontiers in Service Conference and the Journal of Service Research. And I've also done a fair amount of research in service topics. Most recently, I've been really focusing my research on artificial intelligence and how it affects service.
Thank you so much, Roland. I don't see Birgit on the line. Jim, maybe you can say a couple of words because I know you've been working with her for decades as well.
Yeah, happy to. So, and let me just say congratulations, Roland. You are an inspiration to so many of us. I remember when we were starting service research at IBM, and you took a just horrible flights because you had to teach a class, but you showed up and you impressed IBM executives about the importance of service research. I think this was maybe 2003. So, as Deb said, decades ago, you have been just an inspiration to a lot of us, truly. And the pioneering work that you're doing with AI right now just shows you continue to make contributions to the community. So thank you and congratulations. Birgit is in Germany, and I'm going to put in the chat, if I can find it here. I got too many windows open. But there is a little link to Birgit's LinkedIn, as well as to a video that we made recently between the Service Design Network, the organization that she started, which is global and huge and basically making service design a real role in organizations. Birgit pioneered this in the early 1990s. She was one of the first professors, if not the first professor of service design at a university. And she had a lot of industry experience, and she's one of these great T-shaped people who combines industry and academics really, really well. And I did put a link to the recording that we made. So if people want to hear a little bit more from Birgit, please check out that link. And while I'm at it, let me introduce Dundar, because I don't think he's on either. His note taker is on.
His note taker is on, yes.
He sent his AI, as many of us
So, but did he program his AI to say a few words? Should we ask Dundar's note taker, Otter AI, do you have some words to say?
Well, I don't hear it responding. So
don't hear it responding.
But that's certainly one of the projects that ISSIP we're working on, is digital twins of our participants and leadership, so that when we get called away at the last minute, we can send our AI to say a few words. But I'll just mention that Dundar is Some of you may remember the 1980s in the United States. And the 1970s and 80s was a time of change. And Japan was leading in car manufacturing. They were starting a fifth generation AI computer project way back then. And folks in the US were saying, we must not be doing innovation right because there's so much innovation coming out of Japan. We need a new academic discipline. We have good engineers, but we don't manage our engineering and technology well enough. So Dundar was one of those people who stepped up and helped start a whole new academic field of management of engineering and technology. And he started, just like Roland started an annual conference and Birgit started their annual conference related to service, Dundar started his annual conference, the PICMET conference. And we have multiple ISSIP ambassadors to PICMET. So congratulations, Roland. Thank you for being here. And please go out and watch that. I think it's only about maybe 15 minutes long, the interview with Roland, where he tells more of his career story as well as more on the AI front. Go out and watch that. If you get a chance, watch Birgit's video that I included. And I'll put in a link to Dundar in a minute as well. But I think that's probably, Deb, is that okay?
That's perfect, Jim. Thank you so much. And I will have to say, my personal connection with Dundar is that one of the very first conferences that I ever did a presentation at was PICMET. So I'm going with we met at some point in time when I was presenting at PICMET. So there you go. But before we wrap up and move on to our next session, Roland, I would love to ask you, as the distinguished fellow that you are for ISSIP, look into your crystal ball. Tell us, what do you see coming for services innovation in the future? You don't have to do a dissertation or anything, but
Yeah.
quick off the top of your head.
Well, off the top of my head, it's really easy to answer that. I think AI is going to be unbelievably influential, and it's going to change everything we do. Um, Sorry if that sounded extreme, but I have that extreme belief that within a very few years, AI is going to be better than we are at everything. And so when Jim is talking about having a whole bunch of experts at our side, that's going to be AI experts. And I think it's going to really change the way people do things.
And that's exactly why you all are considered to be fellows in services innovation. Thank you so much. That's an absolutely perfect example. Thank you. So let's move on to our next section, Michele.
Thank you. So that takes us over to the Excellence in Service Innovation Award Program led by Haroon, who is not able to be with us today. Something just came up this morning. But you have seen, and we have on the call you've seen the videos for the award winners. The overall winner, SMRT.bio, has a team here on the call. And I think I'll turn it over to you, Jim, to kind of facilitate this slide and the next, overviewing our award winners recognized earlier this year.
Yeah, I met with Haroon just about a week ago as we were reviewing what he was going to present. And the first thing he wanted to do was thank the judges and you see their pictures there, a couple of our board members, including myself there, but others as well. And he wanted to thank the judges because this year we got some fantastic nominations. As always, it was really hard to pick the winners, but we selected 4 winners. One is an overall winner, SMRT.bio, and they're on the call with Frank, and we'll say a few words in a minute. But we also had a winner in business. Cisco had an award. And let me just go to the next slide. By the way, this QR code, if you want to take a picture of your screen, that QR code, actually, if we go back just for a minute, Michele, sorry, got ahead of myself. That QR code on the previous slide is the one for submitting for next year. So if your organization has created fantastic innovation that you want to share with the world and share with the ISSIP community, please take a snapshot and use that QR code. I think the HTTP is there as well, url.com/ISSIP-excellence-award-2026. And you can, it takes about an hour to fill out the form, and you can submit for next year. Now, going to the winners. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Frank and his team to say a little bit while I cut and paste into the chat a bunch of links where people can go out and watch a wonderful 2-minute short video that you made, Frank, giving an overview of the impact of your innovation. As well as a longer interview with Kevin Clark, who's one of our ISSIP ambassadors that I see is on the call. So I'll just turn it over to you, Frank, to say a few words, and I'll cut and paste into the chat while you describe a little bit about SMRT.bio. And congratulations.
Thank you, Jim. With pleasure. Thank you, Jim, Michele, Deb, the ISSIP selection team, to share us the award for the Service Innovation Award 2025. We are really honored as a team. It was a lot of hard work. But before diving into what we are doing, I would like to share a few sentences about a person I know that was important to ISSIP, and it also had a big impression on me. That was Mark Prensky, who passed away a few weeks ago. And I would like to share my condolences with the ISSIP team, your members. For me, it was a big loss and a shock to learn that Mark is not with us anymore. But he inspired me, and I would like to thank ISSIP for getting the connection with him. Thank you so much. Yes. Back to SMRT.bio. We are a small company from the Netherlands, and when you summarize what we are doing, we share normally one sentence. SMRT.bio grows people and economies at scale and speed. We have developed a platform where we allow our users to profile themselves, to search for vacancies, internships, personal learning advice, entrepreneurship, all in one coherent platform. We offer that platform not only here in the Netherlands, but we do it here in Europe. We implement the platform in Africa. We are starting up in India and in Pakistan. And we are surprised, to be honest with you, that business is growing so fast as what we have learned over especially the last 6 months. Our latest generation, we call it SMRT.bio Gen 4, was announced last year in April. The first months we had a little bit of challenge to explain what we are doing in front of customers. But right now, for example, when we reach out to customers, especially universities, almost every meeting that we are having right now is a big hit. The smallest project we are running is 5,000 students. The largest one is 65,000. We have now 2 million committed users. And the ultimate goal is within the next few years to hit the number of 12 million users. This is not a normal trajectory for a European service provider, but this is what we are doing and where we see relevance to add our value. And again, I would like to share our gratitude to ISSIP on behalf of the whole team. Thank you so much. And one last sentence, ISSIP gave us the opportunity also to move out to our customers and to make a lot of noise, especially in Africa, on what ISSIP is doing, so that we can also spread the news about all of the good work you are doing here at ISSIP. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Frank. And in July, you'll be hearing a lot about a very exciting initiative that Frank Melis will be leading for us, the ISSIP. Is it the SMRT.bio ISSIP Challenge? So look for that in the second half. Very exciting.
Yeah, more news in July. Yes.
Congratulations, Frank and SMRT.bio team. I put the 3 links into the for the other 3 winners. I don't see Tinsley on, but Curious Learning is an app that helps students all over the world with literacy. So parents can put the app on their phone, and kids all over can learn to read. And it's having a major impact on literacy, especially in remote corners of the world. And I do happen to know Tinsley is coming out with a book that tells the whole Curious Learning story, and it's a great story. I read a draft of the book, and please do, reach out to Tinsley if you're interested in Curious Learning. Nikhil from Cisco, I don't see him on as well, I don't think. Speak up if I'm overlooking anybody.
Or
But
if someone else came from the team.
yeah, or somebody else from the team. Thank you, Michelle. Um, but the virtual engineer work really impressed the judges, and they were the winner in the impact to business category. And I don't see our colleague from EarthGrid, Troy, on either. But if you haven't, take a look at his longer interview with Kevin, and they're basically building a plasma drilling machine that just moves through the earth like it's butter. Well, maybe not quite butter, but you get the idea. Plasma drilling machine. And, as he describes it, it's really going to make a revolution in energy and power. And we know energy is a hugely important thing for the world. So congratulations to our other winners. And if we go to the next screen, we had 8 distinguished recognition winners in addition to the 4 overall winners. 2 of them submitted, and I do believe at least one of them is on the call, so I'll turn it over to him in a minute. But 2 of the distinguished recognition winners sent us 2-minute videos for you to watch. Let's see if I can find those shorts here.
And they're on ISSIP.org on the awards page. There's Kevin Clark's interview of each of these winners, and then these shorts from the others that provided them.
Right. I'll try to cut and paste it in later, but you can see right there on the slide, if you take a snapshot, there is the URL links. But the first one from the Z inspection is for responsible AI. And Tim Chow, are you on? Are you able to describe the pediatric moonshot and Bevel Cloud?
I am, Jim. Can you hear me?
Hey, Tim.
All right.
And
First of all, thank you all for the recognition. The pediatric moonshot, I just to tell the story very quickly, I retired as the first president of Oracle's cloud computing business. Went back to Stanford, started a class in cloud computing there, met a student who's a pediatric cardiologist by training. And he adopted me, and I started learning about their world, that they're still using CD-ROMs, which is crazy to think about. And at the other end of the spectrum, everyone working in AI knows that you have to have lots of training data to be able to build accurate AI algorithms. So I brought a team together right around COVID time with a mission to reduce healthcare inequity, lower cost, and improve outcomes for children locally, rurally, and globally by creating real-time, privacy-preserving AI applications using data from all 1 million healthcare machines in all 500 children's hospitals in the world. That is what we call the pediatric moonshot. Please go online, www.pediatricmoonshot.com. From a technology perspective, because most of you are technologists on this, I'm sure, we decided we need to build a new rocket, that the current methodology for building AI applications, ChatGPT, is you bring all the data to some central location to learn on, to infer on. Never going to work in healthcare and life sciences. Data sizes are much larger, security requirements much tougher, privacy requirements much more strict. So fundamentally, computer science 101, rather than move the data to the application, let's move the application of the data. So Bevel Cloud has engineered a distributed AI cloud infrastructure to be able to accomplish the pediatric moonshot mission. And you can go to bevelcloud.ai and learn much more about that. Anybody wants to reach out to me on LinkedIn, glad to tell you more.
Fantastic. Thanks, Tim. And for those in the Bay Area, Tim's teaching this course at Stanford on future of cloud and so forth. So I urge you to do that. Tim's got some great books he's authored as well. And please do connect with Tim on LinkedIn. Very collaborative, very forward thinking. So thank you and congratulations, Tim. And I think with that, we're ready to go to the next slide.
Which is back to me just briefly, since you've already seen these slides, I don't need to dwell, but we are very excited to have crossed that milestone of 2,000 folks who have joined the ISSIP community by registering on the website. And you see from when we were founded, 2012, there's been steady growth across the years in numbers in the community, just steady growth, and really more dramatic growth in recent years of kind of awareness of ISSIP. So we think that's great. And this orange bars, these are followers on LinkedIn, which is our metric for awareness of us. So we think trending well and looking good. And we've more than 1,000 organizations now, 76 countries. Happy to answer any questions when we get to this next piece. Jim will facilitate, but the basic metrics show great engagement in every one of ISSIP's programs, from publishing ambassadors, the events, white papers out, just excellent work and at the same level clip as prior years, which is impressive because we're doing it on lower budget. And one thing that Jim did not share in his preview of what we'd be talking about at the star up here, I wanted to just point out to all that largely for the work that Jim Spohrer does with the mentoring of the students involved in our AI collab program, Penn State University named ISSIP as the best sponsor in that program this year. So we're proud of that one, and kudos to Jim for earning it. And in the second half, look in July for more about, there will be, I think, some really fascinating new program leads we're just about ready to announce, and contributors to the ISSIP News Leadership for Credential Certifications program. I think Jim mentioned a little earlier, talking about Birgit, that we will be partnering with Service Design Network. Oh, here it is. Sorry, the Service Design Network, and Montse Moreno, one of our ambassadors to SDN, has stepped up as a lead for that partnership, and it's going to center on their October conference, but have more elements. So look for more from Montse on that. She's also going to chair ISSIP's first event in Spanish in September. On protecting and activating what really drives organizations. Going to do a series in Spanish and in English. Look for more from Montse on that. And we said, exciting. It was 26,000 participants that Frank is working on with the SMRT.bio team. And we learned this morning it's even bigger. Talk about scaling. It's fascinating involvement in Africa and Europe. In July, Deb Satterfield leads our AI collab program, and I and Kazuyoshi Shimada-san are together going to be in person in Orlando at the HSSE conference, which has always been an important collaboration for ISSIP. And then virtually participating will be Christine Leitner, chair of the conference and co-chair of our ISSIP session, along with Jim Spohrer and Vital Prabhu and Lou Freund. So all of us together are going to be putting on an ISSIP session for the first time at HSSE, and very much looking forward to that. You'll hear, and maybe in this next piece, we might have a moment where Kevin might share a little bit about what you'll be hearing about in July, August, the ISSIP Discovery Jam, hosted by Kevin and his colleague Mike, which will peak with a Discovery Summit in the new format, shorter, smaller, single day, co-chaired by our president and vice president, Deb and Haluk. And please see how simple this is. There's now a live link again, the donate to fund us that supports our existence. And we are, Deb had said, we're not operating on a shoestring, we're operating on a dental floss at this point. We really need to raise our funding level. So you'll be hearing from me and from all of us in a campaign in the third quarter to fund 2026 and beyond. And that messaging and the levels and how to give is at ISSIP.org/donate. You have this calendar, a lot going on, and it's all good and very exciting. Happy to answer any questions. And that takes us back to Jim.
Great, thank you, Michele. So we sent out all these slides in advance, and I even made a little 10-minute video clip that went out to everybody, so you all should have had that. So you're probably pretty familiar with everything. So for most of these slides, I would just like to say, if anybody has any questions or comments, come off mute and let us know. This this slide basically highlights some of our YouTubes that we put out there for ISSIP, as well as some of the slide shares. And that QR code there, and the link is right under it, that goes to, I think 2.5 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, Marcus allowed me to interview him about his view on service, and it's got over 100 views. So it is in triple digits, as Michele likes to say, and we like that. And it's a really great video, by the way. So I certainly hope we can get that in the Slack, in the chat here soon, so you can go out and take a look at that if you haven't already. And the other one that I want to highlight here, I mean, you can see we've got a list there of some of the ones that were top viewed, but Lou Freund, who runs the Mighty Me platform, and as you know, ISSIP promotes T-shaped leadership and T-shaped adaptive innovators. He blew me away with the progress that he's making on that platform. It's got fully integrated AI now. So not only can you see how your T-shaped profile looks, but you can also go in and confirm things that are unconfirmed on your profile. You can upload your resume and have AI analyze it. You can ask for help with the AI to what should I do next to become more T-shaped, and it responds with AI generated, which isn't always 100% correct, but at least the times that I've used it and what Lou was showing me, really interesting results from that. So I will just say, go out and check out the ISSIP YouTube, go out and check out the ISSIP SlideShare, and any questions or comments from anybody. And I could call on somebody. I'm just scanning through here. I don't see David Ing on. I was going to call on David because he's running a series on service systems that looked at globalization, deglobalization. There's one coming up in July on AI and automation, and those have been increasing in the number of views as well. So thank you to David Ing as an ISSIP ambassador and Gary Metcalf for those.
That's something I wanted to just share, that the change in tone, the energy is different, this year, it seems to me, with process, right? You have ambassadors, David Ing, Gary Metcalf, Kevin Clark, the way folks are jumping in and supported by you, me, as you in the ambassador support program, just really taking ownership of the events, defining topics, getting the speakers booked, using the platform to make it happen. And it's just, that is how it's going to work. That it's beautiful to see. And I really thank everyone that has been jumping in and making those events happen.
Yeah, and since I do see Marcus on, hey Marcus, why don't you just say a few words so people get to know you better? Can you say a few words, Marcus, just to say hello?
in regard to the clip or just to my person? What is
the clip, if you would.
Yes, yes. Yes, I think we had a lot of good discussions in this ISSIP community, and some were focusing about the question, what is the DNA of our community? And I think we have to keep in mind that service dominant logic and service system thinking and is really the core of our ambitions and of our community. And therefore, I was very happy and proud to have this nice talk with you, Jim. Thanks for that.
Yeah, and I don't want to give away the whole video because it's great, but you help us understand how a cup for holding tea or coffee should be viewed as a service from a service dominant logic perspective. And it's just brilliant what you say. So I hope everybody goes out and checks that out. If we could go to the next slide. Thank you, Marcus. If we could go to the next slide. The ambassador program, I know Christine is on a break, and so she's not able to join us, but we have 119 ISSIP ambassadors. Again, we lost one recently with Mark Prensky passing, but we've got, I think, Yuming. Did I see Yuming on? Maybe she dropped. She's part of the ambassador team. Anybody from the ambassador team want to say hello or introduce themselves? People are shy. Kevin, say hello.
I'm the ambassador from the People-Centered Internet, and I am honored to have recorded the videos of your award winners. All right, so that was actually fun to do. And as you saw in a couple of charts back, we'll be sharing our treasure hunt methodology, right? Which all goes all the way back to the IBM jams, right? Tech, to have a conversation with all of ISSIP, or at least an invitation for everyone to have a conversation in the near future. So I'm not going to take any more time now, but it was I am a representative sample of an enthusiastic ambassador.
You sure are, and I'm just gonna pile it on for a minute, because not only are you coming up with this jam concept, which we used effectively inside of IBM for years to innovate and brainstorm, and thank you so much for working with Mike Wing, who was one of the people in IBM who developed that jam concept. But last night we had a fantastic talk with Jochen Wirtz, who's got a book coming out talking about service robots. A lot of other ambassadors joined that call. Thank you, Kevin, for putting that together. We'll get that up on the ISSIP YouTube channel and slide share shortly, because Jochen not only shared his presentation, but he also shared a page full of publications and other resources he's happy to share with people who want to connect with him on LinkedIn and request that. So we'll get that all up, Kevin, as well.
Yeah, just to close the loop here, you know, we gave an award to Roland Rust, right, at the beginning of this. And I met Jochen at his conference last year. So Roland continues to be the gift that keeps on giving, right? So.
He is. He's got more of us connected than I could check a stick out for sure.
Yeah, I should mention that the next Frontiers in Service conference will be held in Montreal in July. So that's something to look out for. Frontiers in Service in Montreal.
Thank you, Roland.
I would like to add, before we move away from this slide, what a fantastic job that Christine has done in the ambassador program. I think she's really gone over and above in getting more ISSIP ambassadors engaged, making sure that they're fully understanding what they can do as an ambassador, and how it helps ISSIP and how it helps their professional career to be a part of the ISSIP ambassador program. And one thing that I think to really shout out is that it is a wonderful opportunity to just view what again, the globalization of ISSIP. We have ambassadors from all kinds of places now, and that's just a great opportunity to grow and influence what we're doing for services innovation. So if you're not a part of the ambassadors program, reach out and let's have a conversation about how you can be more involved in the ambassador program.
Yeah, and I will pile on to that as well, Deb, because you mentioned how we adapt and change at ISSIP. We're not static. And Christine, who's a distinguished engineer at IBM, involved in strategy and so many innovations that have come out of IBM over the years. She is also, and Yu Ming, who works with her, is at IBM. They've really been active in the Benevity platform, which we'll hear a little bit about later. But as we think about, how do we raise the funds so that we can have an executive director, so that we can have the newsletters and the websites and stuff like this. The Benevity platform allows people at IBM who volunteer for ISSIP to record their volunteer hours, and then IBM helps match. So, it's a great model where the volunteers who contribute their time and energy to ISSIP, sometimes their organizations will contribute funding to ISSIP for the volunteer work that's being put in. So yes, Christine does a lot of great things to help ISSIP, for sure. And if we can go to the next slide. Deb is on.
She just dropped off.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We should have gotten to her slides sooner, because I have to talk now.
Deb, did you actually drop off? Because I see you still here. It says I have to drop off.
Say hello, Deb, if you can.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oops.
So Deb Satterfield from UC Long Beach is our lead for the CoLab program, which is, I'll have to be honest, these days it's my favorite part of ISSIP, because it's where people from industry, like I was at IBM and Apple before that, get to work with student teams. And it's a fantastic program, and I could go on and on about all the great contributions Deb's made, not only to this program, but to the Human Side of Service Engineering Conference, which she co-chairs. But I will just, to keep it short so we can hear from other people, I'm going to put a link in to the ISSIP webpage, blog post, where we have the latest student teams projects, which were to build courses for ISSIP. So new participants in ISSIP who want to learn about ISSIP and learn about service and service dominant logic and service dominant architecture and service science and other service innovation related concepts and about programs and so forth, they can take the course. And each of the student teams had to build an instructor-led PowerPoint version, a web-based, self-paced version, and an AI-driven course for ISSIP. And you have to take a pre-test before you take the course and a post-test after you take the course to see if it's effective and engaging and efficient, that you actually learn things. And these courses only take an hour. Some of them less than an hour. So I really encourage you to go out and take a look at those. Obviously, the work that the students did, we can keep building on to improve. And I believe someday we'll have a very nice AI tutor that will help people understand all these service concepts. And I'm very impressed with, for example, the Penn State University students. When I took their AI-driven course, it asked me, are you ready to be tested, or would you like some examples? And tell me a little bit about yourself so I can make the examples relevant to your future career. So very proactive AIs helping us learn about this material. So check that out when you get a chance. And anybody else that's involved in the AI collabs? I think I saw Michael Turek on from University of Washington, Tacoma. Michael, do you want to say hello? He may have stepped away. Had to step away.
Hello. Sorry about that. I'm mobile, so I'm off camera right now.
Okay. I'll just say you've got great students. They're masters of science of business analytics, and they love projects around data. So
yes, they do. They love lots of data, and they love to predict things. That's one thing year over year that I can tell about the students or say about them. But also thank you to you, and thank you to ISSIP for all of the opportunities for the additional experiential learning, and also all the mentorship. I hear year over year. I think we've done this for years now. I'm looking forward to the next, but year over year, the students rave about it. Glad to be a part of the initiative.
And thank you for being a donor and supporting ISSIP as well. We can go to the next few slides, Michelle. And people can put questions, comments in. There's blog posts on all these student projects. The next one we're starting to work on is to get the students to generate synthetic data for service systems. So that's going to be one of the ones coming up. And let me see if Vital is on. Nope, I don't see him on. I think he was on earlier, but Vital Prabhu from Penn State University is helping with that as well. So if we go to the next slide. Vishali wasn't able to make it today, but July 9th, we have our next quarterly welcome coming up. So we get about one new ISSIP participant per day joining ISSIP, and they get invited to a welcome session. That's always a lot of fun. The folks that can join that, the next one's coming up July 9th. We do record those and post them so people can get to know each other. And we focus on what do we want to give of our time, enthusiasm, and expertise? What do we want to get? Whether it's professional recognition, and how do we want to grow our professional network? So service, give, get, grow. And if we go to the next slide, that's the treasurer's report. It shows our dental floss budget. And we're very transparent about how we spend everything. You know, we have an executive director, we have the newsletters, we have the website. So thanks to the major donors, two of which are shown there. But as I said, Michael Turek, we could have you up there, and Vital Prabhu, we could have you up there. Others who donate to ISSIP as well. Next slide, please. And this is our code of conduct, and it's part of our ISSIP handbook. If you haven't, there's a QR code. If you haven't gone and just added your email address to the code of conduct and read it, please do. It is an important document for everybody who participates in our community. And people ask me, you know, does it ever come up in leadership conversations? And the answer is yes, it does. And in fact, I've had people reach out to me saying, hey, Jim, so-and-so is connecting to me on LinkedIn. Are they an ISSIP member? Have they signed the code of conduct? They're asking for some collaboration. I'm not sure who they are or what this is about. So please do. I do let other leaders know, yes, so-and-so has signed the code of conduct. They're, you know, an active participant in our community. Feel free to collaborate with them. They're a good collaborator. So definitely take this code of conduct seriously because it's important. And if we go to the next slide, I think I get to turn it over to Haluk now. And Haluk, we've got 13 minutes left. So over to you.
All right. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, everybody. And I wanted to also thanks to everyone to spending time and joining this conversation. All right. So I wanted to spend a few minutes for some of our leadership priorities, and I will go fast. Michelle, can we go to the next slide? Okay, I guess in the next few slides, we are, I mean, priority-wise, basically, I'm upcoming president for next year, and I have been involved with ISSIP for a very, very, very long time, since its first day. So basically, next year, we will continue working more probably technology adoption and primarily AI, and how AI will drive service innovation, and service innovation drives AI. I think it's like a circular relationship happening there. And then again, we will just continue working on building some services capabilities to serve to our community and maximizing our reach and delivering a positive impact to our members and our organizations we interact with. So I think next number of slides are just going through the different leadership members, right? Yeah, we have Vanita. Vanita, if you would like to.
Vanita is on the call.
Yeah, take a minute to share your perspective.
Hi. So you can read there, Ashley, you know, sort of what my comments are. I think that this is an excellent organization. I think the volunteers and the work they do, you know, are really outstanding, and, you know, it's a real commitment. The reality is that funding is also important, and I don't want to miss the opportunity to identify that as, that dental floss needs to become shoestring in order to make the organization even more effective and really, serve the community at its potential.
Right. All right. Michelle?
Oh, sorry, moving on. I was about to
Multitasking,
comment in the
right?
chat. Sorry.
Multitasking happens.
Yazie's not able to be here today.
Oh, she's not? Okay. Yasi is also one of our long-term member of the ISSIP community. And so she also wanted to share briefly her perspective. That's already mentioned in the slide. And to benefit of timing, how do we want to do next 10 minutes most efficiently?
Oh, Amar is on, so we definitely want to hear from Amar. And
Perfect.
She was planning to be here, but at the last minute she got pulled away, Haluk, so she would
Yeah.
otherwise. But Amar, do you want to introduce yourself? I saw him on just a minute ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just I can give a background for Amar. Amar is from Cisco. He is also one of the original founding member of the ISSIP, when primarily IBM, Cisco, and HP were on a driver's seat of development of this community, I will say, for many years ago.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, recently, I don't think I've updated you, Haluk, but he is going to become principal AI leader at a startup.
Oh,
chain, and he is also an adjunct industry professor at San Jose State University, which he's been doing for a long time. But I think he's increasing the number of things he's doing there because of AI increases. And one other thing about Amar, when I was talking to him, is recently, is he is very committed to the next stage of career growth of people at in ISSIP. So if anybody's looking for a mentor, Amar is a great person as a mentor for people developing their career related to service innovation. So next slide. And
is Sunil? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't see Sunil.
He recorded a nice short announcement, Haluk, and that QR code goes out to that. So just FYI.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So everyone has that, and you can shoot that now.
I do see Ann Hardy is on, and so knowing Jeff isn't on, I'll just say Jeff added this QR code because there's a Berkeley Innovation Forum event coming up at IBM Research Almaden. And if you take a screenshot or a picture of that QR code, you can find out more information about the event coming up at IBM Almaden. And Jeff looks forward to meeting people from the ISSIP community that might be there. And I think, do we have Varner and...
yeah, and Varner is on.
Yeah, both of us here.
Perfect, Warner.
Be quiet, and you can go to
Gerardo. Yeah.
Good evening on my end. I'm currently in Europe with the family, but Cisco is a proud participant in the ISSIP forum, long time participant, in which we are very, very grateful for the ISSIP organization to provide and support such a large community. We as the overall aspect, you've seen the budget. I love that it's so transparent. It's also important that we continue to support the ISSIP, both from a content intelligence discussion perspective, of course, but also the funds to ensure that the organization can continue to run at such a professional level. And so that's where I wish to support this organization as well and help organize the thoughts around how to ensure the future of the organization continues to run at a professional level. So appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight, and greetings from Amsterdam, where I have my family here today.
Thank you for patching
Thank
in
you.
from so far and late. Gracious.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to Gerhard.
I think not on the call. So
Yeah, Gerhard is he was a president during 2020 to 2020 COVID times, right? Exciting days, we all remember. So he has been involved in the Service Science Committee for a very long time. He is also located in Europe in a way different time zone. All right. I know Marcus is on call. Marcus, would you like to take the microphone?
Yeah. It's my pleasure to be part of this community, and I come back to the DNA, and I think the connecting of this capabilities, skills, and other resources characterizing ISSIP, we have really the big chance to build resource density and real valuable service innovations. So let's try to get even faster on this successful road. Thank you very much.
thank you. Who,
All right. Let's,
Jim,
yeah.
did we
I'm,
go back
we
to
want to,
Jim?
I'm sorry,
We
Michelle?
skipped Jim. Should we go back or
No, but we should go back to Ann Hardy.
And Hardy.
oh,
Right.
she
Annie
was-
Hardy, yeah.
I
No,
think
she wasn't in the list of things.
Oh, okay.
we don't have a
Sorry.
slide. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Annie,
And
did
is on the
you-
call. Yeah.
This is me IRL. This is the human side of me. It's not digital. This is fully human. I'm excited about the continued evolution of, honestly, the ability to scale impact. I know that we have relied so very heavily on staff, and especially relying so heavily on Jim and his heart and his passion. And as he is getting closer and closer to retirement, I think the urgency of being able to basically digitally twin him is going to be, I think, what the next couple of years is going to be exciting to do. So the emergence of the AI tool that he's generating, thinking about how to scale the impact of mentoring, or just trying to think about that, I think, is going to be an important thing. And then I would love to continue to bring my thought leadership to some of these student organizations. I had a great time with the Future of Trust with UW. And I'm going to be focusing at the end of this year on more thought leadership that's looking at the future of trust from the perspective of agentic and adversarial, and looking from like an energy security perspective. So the evolution of the conversations I've had internally and also with students is what I'm looking forward to being able to change it. So agentic AI, energy security, also just kind of adversarial AI security and network security as well. So there's a lot that I look forward to sharing, and also us as an organization thinking about Jim and thinking about basically how to clone him. We need a Dolly sheep version of Jim.
There's been a great deal of progress on that,
thanks.
the automation and the digital
Yeah.
twin.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I love. What I love to hear, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that, the development of that.
Thanks, Annie. That's great. And I do want to recognize we also have Terry Griffin on, who is one of our
Terry.
executive committee members. And Terry, we'll give you a minute to talk before we wrap this up.
I'm really fine with kind of opening it up to anyone else. I guess that's the question I have is, does anyone in the room have an idea for something new that we could really be doing to support your community, an area where you would like us to help connect you with a way to get more involved? I guess that's my question to the group.
I would say if you have any comments or suggestions, put them in the chat window really quick before we wrap up the call, and then we can pick them up and have another conversation.
Absolutely, because I see Kevin Clark has already put in a nice connection over there. And I'll say thank you to all the folks who were running today's presentation. What a great update.
Great.
Yeah,
Well, I think that we had one more slide left, but I don't think we
Yes.
need to go back to it. It was just Haluk and I were just going to give you a preview of some of the upcoming things coming forward. Such a pleasure to work with Haluk as the Vice President, incoming President for 2026. And I will say a big thanks to Jim and Michele, because we couldn't make ISSIP work if it wasn't for them and all y'all on the call who make such great contributions. So thanks very much. And like I said, get some comments and suggestions in the chat window before we close up on what do you think we should be doing as we're wrapping up the next half of the year and as we're looking forward to 2026. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Michele. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Haluk.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Cheers.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Great. All right. We'll see who can stay on just a minute. I see a few people are still on. I see Michele from Switzerland. Hey, Michele.
Mm.
Good to
Spiky
see you.
Yeah. Jim, just an FYI, still some of the AI note takers are on the call.
Oh, okay.
I don't think those will drop until we close the
Yeah.
meeting. Just FYI.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we should probably